Hi, everybody. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Welcome to the live show for the Sci-Fi Sisters. I'm Tamia. We got Yvette.
Hello.
Sabrina.
Whoop, whoop.
And Sister Fran T.
What's happening?
Hey, y'all. What's happening, Fran T? We're trekking against pancreatic cancer tonight, y'all. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And we've got some amazing guests that are joining us. Yvette, I'm ready whenever you are.
All right.
Let's bring him on in. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
That's it.
I'm the first guest.
Yay! And the second guest.
Yay!
Yay! Gonna get better.
I was fully expecting to be the last guest. I'm a little
Everybody, we've got joining us John Billingsley, Juan Carlos Soto. Did I say it right? Or Coto?
Coto.
I knew I was going to mess up your name. Jonathan
All
Frakes and Armin Shimerman and Kitty Swink. We're all trekking against pancreatic cancer. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Thank you.
I think that's Jonathan Frink.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to correct you, JB, but I think I know what I'm talking about, and I think it's Frank. I'm going to say
there's some shade already.
Yeah, are you trying to explain Star Trek to us? What?
Yes. No.
What do?
Right, and this is Ben Shimmerswink. Right.
Hi.
I love that.
So cute. And we got cuteness. Thank God. We needed somebody to give us some adorableness.
The chat is going off.
Miss Billingsley, chopped liver. Look how cute he is.
That's great.
You got the middle square. What do you want?
I like
Yes, you got the center square.
Yeah.
Oh, look at John.
Yeah, so the folks in our chat are going crazy now, and they're loving it. So this is a truly motley crew here that is assembled for this trek against pancreatic cancer.
You are a silver tongued devil, a motley crew.
This guy.
I know, they can't take him anywhere. God, so we're gonna talk about the trek against pancreatic cancer and PanCan and what you guys are doing. So who wants to start just telling us a little bit about what is PanCan and how you guys got involved?
We'll start with Kitty Swink because she's our team captain. She's the team captain.
I'm the team captain.
The reason we're all here.
Yes.
PanCan, the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, is the largest pancreatic cancer nonprofit in the world, and it's fantastic. And I was introduced to it by someone who was like my grandmother, and that was Charlotte Ray. You may all remember her from Facts of Life. And but I had been in recovery from pancreatic cancer for about 5 years when a friend called and said, Charlotte's been diagnosed. Will you be her rabbi? And I said, sure, the Irish girl will be happy to be her rabbi. and so she adopted me and I adopted her, and she lived for another 9 years, and she passed from cancer, but not pancreatic cancer, God bless her. And we would go to events for PanCan, and I would carry an apple box because Char was about 4'10", and I used to be about 5'10", so we'd be like, she couldn't see over the lectern, and I'd be standing a million feet above her. And then at her funeral, I spoke, and the people from pancreatic cancer came over and spoke to me. From PanCan came over to spoke to me. And then during the height of the pandemic, I got a message from Pam Marquardt, who started PanCan, and said, "Can I talk to you? Will you talk to me about being an ambassador?" And after I spoke to her, I said, I think the people to be ambassador is the Star Trek family, because nobody in the world. I'm a 20-year survivor. That's really unusual.
Wow.
Really,
Yes.
I had a 3 to 4% chance of making it 5 years at the time I was diagnosed. It's now 13%. That's not good enough. We're working on it. But so I said, let me talk to my husband and our friend Jonathan Frakes, because he was my, everything. He got me through it. And then we saw Jonathan at Marina's going away party. And Jonathan, what happened?
Well, my dear old friend Kitty and Armin, who I've known for longer than anybody in this Star Trek family from our days in our misspent youth, the impossible ragtime theater. Kitty, who knew about my brother Daniel Frakes, who was the cute one of the family, my only brother and dear friend with whom I lived in New York and then moved to LA with. He died with pancreatic cancer at 40, and we took him into the hospital at University of Pennsylvania. He was jaundiced. He was a mess. They opened him up with what they call the expected to operate, which a phrase you'll become familiar with as we talk more and more about this horrible disease. And they opened him up and closed him up and said, I'm sorry, he's maybe got 6 months to live. This was a week before our daughter was born. Not a week before, but he died a week before our daughter was born. So that's 26 years ago. And at that time, as Kitty mentioned, I think then it was maybe a 3% chance of survival. And it went, as Armin is so proud to point out, since we joined this thing, it's gone from 10 to 11 to 12 to 13, and we're nowhere near where we need to be, which is quite obvious. So Kitty asked me if I would be interested in being involved in this organization because she knew this about Daniel. And I had never had a charity that I could
I'm muting. Hang on. Hold on.
You're heartened because it's your family, as you'll hear from Juan Carlos and from John, and obviously from Armin. And because I've loved Kitty for so many years, who Kitty is also sort of the godmother to my daughter, among other things, but she's one of our great humans. And as you'll see or have heard, is her vision of hope, which is the big theme of Star Trek, as we know, that sort of ties this whole thing together. And because it was Kitty and because we knew about Daniel, and it was the easiest yes to anything. I hate to be so long-winded, but that's sort of how this started for me. And then we were joined by our other low-life cohorts who are in the middle of the screen.
For you, Mr. Billingsley.
I was going to say that sounded like
It
you.
sounded like your intro.
I thought he was tossing to me for a secing, but then I said,
No, not you. Nope, it wasn't you.
It's pretty clear that was
Low life, Motley. I waited all day for this get together. Yes, my mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 1990, and one of the things we'll talk about tonight, particularly, I think one of the things that is wonderful about this organization is it raises awareness about symptoms, and early detection is so important when it comes to pancreatic cancer. My mother had backache, she had stomach ache, she was hospital averse, doctor averse. She was one of those people, if an anvil falls in her head, she says, oh dear. So getting into the doctor took some doing. By the time she went to the doctor, it was way too late. And similarly to Jonathan, when she got the test back, there was no hope given. It was forget it, and you may have a few months, which is indeed what she had. And my wonderful, lovely, stoic mother, this was an era when pancreatic cancer was a death sentence, but also for me, I felt that I was sort of the son of a stoic. And so I really didn't think much about pancreatic cancer. It's a death sentence, done deal. What a horrible thing to befall one. When I heard from Kitty and met Kitty and heard about the organization, realizing this percentage might sound small, but it represents thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are living, who would not have, but for the work this organization does. I similarly to Jonathan thought, oh, what can I do? What can I do? I am so appreciative that I was brought into the fold and am able to kind of join this motley crew and help represent for my mom. So.
Yeah. And I'm here representing my brother Manny, who a lot of you know ran Star Trek Enterprise in its last season and started in its third season. Manny and I grew up as a couple of Cuban kids in Orlando, Florida. You know, he was my inspiration in a lot of ways in in life and in creativity. And he sort of took my dad's Super 8 and started making movies when we were kids and taught me that that was possible. And I was sort of PA on those movies and basically taught me that you can make a life telling stories and making other people laugh or wonder or hope for the future. And he loved Star Trek. And he got me into Star Trek. I subsequently got him into TNG because he was not on board with TNG at the beginning. And I said, "You got to watch this show." But he was a lifelong Trek fan. So 2 years ago, he came down with diabetes, with sudden diabetes, and he was super thirsty, and he had all the symptoms of diabetes. He went in and checked that, and this is one of the symptoms that often come on. It was sudden onset because he hadn't been diabetic before that. And within that, they discovered that he had a tumor on the duct of his pancreas, which was interfering with enzymes and so forth, and that's what was giving him diabetes. So he semi-early, it was detected, and they fought it with radiation and chemotherapy. It was pretty aggressive, and but he fought it, valiantly for 13 months, and he passed away last July at 62 years old, and left behind 4 children, a son, 14, a daughter, 12, and twin 10-year-old girls. And he was, like I said, just sort of a force of creativity and love and energy, and really espoused all things Trek. And in the midst of fighting this disease and him facing the end of it, I found out about the Trek Against Pancreatic Cancer, and I found out about this Trek connection, and was sort of overwhelmed by the community and the love and the outpouring for Manny when he passed. And when I connected with Kitty and John and Jonathan, and they asked me to join the team, it was, again, an easy yes. It was just a way to honor Manny, and really to honor Star Trek, which for me is so much about hope. We have Kitty, who represents hope within our team, but it's like there's no better pop culture phenomenon, I think, than Star Trek to take us toward a brighter future, right? So that's why I'm here.
Right.
So, if I may chime in, do you want to say something?
No, because I jumped you. Sorry.
Oh, so I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm not here because I've lost someone. I'm here because I kept someone, which is a miracle, just an incredible miracle. But I'm also here to say some of the things that this wonderful organization does. It helps educate doctors to look for symptoms early on. The stories you've just heard is because the patients didn't recognize the symptoms, didn't go to their doctors for the symptoms. And by the time, unfortunately, with pancreatic cancer, when the symptoms show themselves, it's usually very late in the disease. So one of the things this organization is doing is educating doctors to look for the symptoms early on. Look for the very things that my friends just mentioned, so that the people have a head start on this. The other things that this organization does is people like me, for instance, the caregivers for the patients. It helps those people. It helps the patients find other doctors. One of the things we insist upon is that when you get a diagnosis from the doctor, really, we want you all to find another doctor to get a second diagnosis, because not every doctor is up on this disease. And one of the things PanCan can do is direct you to a specialist in your area, so that you get someone who's a little bit more familiar with the disease, can give you more advice, can give you more hope, can tell you about various things like the Whipple operation, which saved Kitty's life. These are the things that PanCan does, that PanCan Action Network can do. And we want to advocate this. We want no one to die from this disease. We want to bring that 13% up to 100%. And everyone who's listening can help us do that.
And they also have patient and family services. They'll help your family. It's a family disease. Everybody has to deal with it. They have nutrition experts. There's a wonderful program that started a few years ago in Black History Month, because there's a huge disparity in what happens to Black patients as opposed to white patients. It's an enormous and terrible number. They're really changing that. They're really working to change that. They go to the government and they ask for more money. My favorite thing that PanCan did is years ago, they they realized that people that were in clinical trials couldn't get out of a trial that wasn't working for them and get into one that could. And they got all of the cancer nonprofits together, and they went to the FDA and the NIH and said, this is silly. We're killing patients. Let's change this. And they did.
Yeah.
And they did. They changed that.
We always talk about that action is in their name, Pancreatic Action Network. And they really do. They do things and they get things done. I mean, they're 25 years old this year, right? I think they just turned 25. I think we lost Kitty and Armin.
I think we did.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, they're back. And they're back.
We weren't talking about you. We weren't talking about you.
Yes. Somebody said also brown. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes.
For sure.
There's a huge reason why there's a huge disparity is because it's harder to access quality healthcare. It's a big difference.
And what? Go ahead, Kitty. Go ahead.
And also, one thing I found out recently is that if you have gum disease, so people who can't afford dentists, which is a huge swath of the American public of every ethnicity and color, you're more likely to get pancreatic cancer. If your gum,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
It's a crazy amount of facts that nobody knows that PanCan is trying to explain to everybody. Good healthcare is everything. Yeah. And women, especially women. Yes, I have a friend who had a very fancy doctor and said to him, I'm losing weight. And he said, older women often lose weight. By the time they found her pancreatic cancer, she had stage 4.
It's the ignorance of doctors. It's not their fault. They're just not trained in this. So what PanCan is doing is training doctors to recognize the symptoms. Because as I said before, the earlier you find this is what saved Kitty's life. The earlier you find this, the more chance that you have of survivability.
Yep.
We're also raising money in the hope of finding more specific and easier to recognize markers with blood tests.
Right.
When we got our blood tests, if we didn't mention to the doctor that we have it in our family or that if it's a pre-existing condition genetically, that you need to tell your doctor that when you go in there for your annual checkup. And we're hoping that eventually there will be a simpler marker in your blood test that can detect it earlier in the experience, if you will.
Right.
There's also a reason why we are here at this particular time, because we are on the verge of the annual Pancreatic Cancer Action Network PurpleStride.
Yeah, do tell.
Very nice.
Very challenging. Get out, I must say. April 27th, which is Saturday, in 60, I believe, cities across the country. And you can go to, and this is where I do fuck up. So jump in and help me. What is the goddamn website?
Go to
PurpleStride.org. .org. And we had to do it all over again because I got it all wrong.
There it is. Look, holy cow.
The link is in the description for everybody.
God.
I have it written
I got you.
Wait, I can do it. PurpleStride.org and look for Trek Against Pancreatic Cancer. That's us.
That's our group.
That's us.
You can sponsor any one of us.
What?
What'd you say?
We want to support the Stride. Is the Trek Against Pancreatic Cancer, the Team Trek.
Yeah, so our team is raising money, but I also was going to say, if you are able to go to one of these 60 events across the country, join a great crowd, spirited crowd in whatever city you can attend, or come to us in Los Angeles. You can hop a jet just like that and be across the country and walk with us. Saturday morning, the 27th, we're all going to be there. Frakes is going to be there. Free piggyback rides for anybody under 60 pounds.
Oh, this joke is so old.
I think this is going to bring a horde of people in. I really do. I'm losing weight. I'm on a diet to get down to 60 pounds until the 27th.
Having attended marches around the country, I can tell you that they are amazing things. There are people giving thanks for the fact that some of their friends and relatives have survived, or they're eulogizing the people that they've lost. In the 2 or 3 marches that I've attended, and I hope to attend them for the rest of my life, there have been thousands of people all very happy, all very eager. It's not a somber experience. It's a full of life experience, a joy of life experience.
Wear purple if you can.
Well, that's easy for the sci-fi.
Oh,
series.
we got
very
We got
easy.
purple covered.
Armin wears orange for reasons that are.
I wear orange, but you can figure out why. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not really much of a stride, so please don't.
I beg your pardon. I stride with the best of them.
It's more of an amble. It's really more of a purple amble. So
You can see that we don't have any fun together. We have a really terrible time.
Oh, we got a question. We got a question. Is all pancreatic cancer genetic? Do you guys know?
No.
About 10%.
Wow. Okay.
If you have the BRCA mutation, which is also a mutation for breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and various other cancers, you might be more likely to have it. And there's a couple of other mutations that they're finding now. I have some nieces who have all been genetically tested. They're all fine. I've had both breast cancer and pancreatic cancer. I don't have a mutation. There you go.
But if you do have it in your family, do get tested.
Yes.
Even if you show no symptoms whatsoever, do get tested just to be on the safe side.
And it, like many cancers, my mother was a smoker, and there is, one thinks lung cancer, but many cancers are more likely to develop if you're a smoker.
Here's a few lifestyle things that can cause pancreatic cancer. Smoking, alcoholism, extreme obesity are all markers for pancreatic cancer.
When Kitty was diagnosed, they kept asking her, "Do you drink a lot? Do you drink a lot? Do you drink a lot?" And her answer was no, because they thought that was was a symptom.
Do you eat a high fat diet? I kept going, Are you looking at me? I'm strong. I weigh 12 pounds. What are you, nuts?
Sabrina, do you have don't you have a personal experience with pancreatic cancer in your family as well?
Not in my family, but with my extended family. Just had a very close friend pass from pancreatic cancer. It was very sudden. Just by the time they got to him, it was sort of the same thing. It was over by the time they did the operation. So we heard in April, he was gone in September.
Yes, it manifests really late in the disease. That's why the trick is to search for it before it hits you, especially if it's in your family. Especially if it's in your family.
I'm hearing a couple of things that's making me get a test.
Right,
I just got a couple of things here. I was like, wait a minute.
Wow.
And I am hearing that there is actually a test for it, a blood test or
there's no blood test per se, but you can check for it.
There's a tumor marker that they do on me every year, but it's not like what were my symptoms? I'll tell you in a second. Rashid, I'll be right there. It's not accurate the way a mammogram is, or
okay.
Or a PSA. It's not like a PSA. I mean, that's one of the things they're working on, right? That's one of the things. That's one of the things that raising money will help. They want to find a good test and put together a good test. And they're also working on there was a certain vaccine that's been developed, right? That they're also working on as well.
That's right. That's right, JC. Absolutely.
It was announced last year.
You got people. I mean, there are so many people in this chat talking about they're going to go get themselves checked.
Yeah, that's great.
And then we've done our job, because that's what we need to do. We need to save people's lives.
It's about awareness. It's about awareness.
Exactly.
And one last thing in advance of the 27th, which is of course true. I mean, there's a wonderful plethora of people asking for money and help and support. If times are tight, one thing you could do is just spread the word. And share the link and get the information out there. I mean, really, the raising of the awareness, the raising of the consciousness, that's something I guess we're kind of asking as much as anything. Share the link.
You can donate. The link is in the description.
You can donate. Yes, you can donate.
We're Trek fans.
You absolutely must. If you absolutely insist on donating.
Exactly. Me and John, we're always begging for money, so we're going to beg you again.
It's the same. It's the same.
And Sabrina, when you talk to your friend's family, the person who unfortunately has passed away, will you tell them to get themselves checked?
I already have. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And send them to PanCan, because there's a lot of good information for them to get there. PanCan's they have people in every city picking up the phone and answering questions. They're fantastic. I can't tell you how many.
It's a tremendous organization.
I've learned
really
so much
is.
in this last half hour that I didn't know before.
It's been a real education, and unfortunately, I feel like, I'll speak to my own lack of competency. They have amazing information about different trials and different experiments that are being conducted, and possible breakthroughs, which kind of, even though I played a doctor on TV, I'm really a dunderhead, so it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. But it's remarkable, some of the stuff they're doing. And I really wish that somebody, Armin, it should be you, would actually kind of absorb this, bring it back, and share. Because it really is, they're doing some cutting edge stuff. Yeah. Not coincidental that the survivability rate has increased this much.
I know somebody who's in the mRNA vaccine. They have an mRNA vaccine for pancreatic cancer for people who are already sick. And I know somebody in the trial, and she's doing really well.
Oh, wow.
Would you explain that, Kitty, a little bit, just if you can?
So the COVID vaccines, except Novavax, are mRNA vaccines, and they've discovered that it can change the genetics of certain tumors. And so they're going in with this mRNA vaccine and trying to keep the tumor. I don't understand the mechanics very well, but it keeps the tumor from growing by attaching itself. So, wow.
Yeah.
And all of these organizations that are working on cancer are very well connected, as witness what Kitty said a while ago about how they all came together to go and lobby for rescuing people from failed clinical trials. So supporting this organization is supporting the fight against cancer writ large.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
The chat is just full of wow.
The chat is just like, wow.
Because you guys are dropping all this knowledge on us, and I mean, we're so grateful for it. I mean, people see all these big names coming up, and everybody is excited and attracted to come hear whatever you all have to say. And so I'm particularly thankful that what you have to say right now is in service for this cause, I think you guys have given us a huge education. It's really important, even though I don't know that anybody in my family has had it, but you were talking about drinking and smoking, and I was a drinker. Like, I was a heavy hardcore drinker, and I smoked for 20 something years and stuff. And now it's like, oh, perhaps I should go get myself.
And the good news is, should in the future you hear about somebody who has been diagnosed, you now have the information to give them, to help your friend, to help your family member, and say, I heard about this thing. You should look them up. And that's great. That's as good as a contribution. I know the guys are going to disagree with me, but I wish I knew. Good as a contribution.
It's really hard. It's really hard. It's really hard to capture what's special about this organization sometimes, because I think big cancer organizations, they're extremely large, extremely bureaucratic. They make $1 gajillion, and a small portion of it goes to people in need. This organization is so responsive on the ground, and I really want to continue to echo and reinforce the notion that pick up the phone and give them a jingle if you have a question or a concern, or you wonder about a diagnosis, or you're looking for a doctor, because they are really Johnny on the spot with that crap.
Yeah. And you're not alone. You are not alone. You're not alone.
You're not alone. Maybe it's a good time for Kitty to answer the question that came in earlier. As a survivor, this information could be very, very specific and very helpful.
So I had lower back pain, but I always had lower back pain because I was always at the gym. And then I kind of had acid reflux, but I was under a lot of pressure. My father had Alzheimer's, so I just assumed it was that. And then I started losing weight, and I lost a lot of weight. At the bottom, I got down to 90 pounds at 5'10". So, but at about 115, I was visiting Cecily Adams, who you guys all know as Moogie, in the hospital. And her childhood nanny looked at me and said, I don't think you should be worrying about Cess. I think you should be worrying about you. And I came home and I said that to Armin. And he said, yeah. And luckily I called my doctor that day, and they said, oh, we can't get you in until a couple of weeks from now. And then on the next morning they called and said, oops, we had a cancellation. Why don't you come in? Because you never complain about anything. Over the weekend, that was on a Friday. Over the weekend, my urine turned brown. On Monday, we were out, and when I came home, there was a message from my doctor saying, your kidneys and your liver are shutting down. Go to the hospital right now. Wow. They're expecting you. And 17 days later, I came out of Cedars-Sinai, missing half my stomach, half my pancreas, my gallbladder, 2 feet of my intestines, and 28 lymph nodes. And I am so lucky they could do that surgery.
And my hair turned white.
Yeah. So, but it was all those things. It was inexplicable weight loss. That's a big sign. Lower back pain, mid back pain can be a sign. Acid reflux can be a sign.
And as Johnny said, should you, and God forbid that it happens, should you start to turn yellow immediately?
Right now. Yeah. We're sitting in the emergency room waiting for them to take me in, and Armin went, "Oh my God, you're yellow."
Wow.
You said something
that
else.
happened to Manny as well. It started with the diabetes, but he also went jaundice as well. It happens. Yeah. So that's definitely a big sign.
Yeah.
You said something else, Kitty, that really resonates with me, because my mother, when she started thinking, all right, I'll go to the doctor, weeks go by sometimes. It's unfortunate. It's the nature of aspects of our medical system that are a little problematic. Being aggressive in an instance where you have a worry is not a bad thing. And, nobody is for you if you are not for yourself. And I do think that's where Pancreatic Cancer Action Network can also help support and help you fight a little bit, to break through some of those unfortunate barriers and boundaries that kind of keep us from getting quicker diagnosis. My mother had to go through a test and then come back 2 weeks later, read the test, and another test 2 weeks later. So it wasn't that it wasn't necessarily she didn't get to the doctor on time. It was she didn't get a diagnosis on time.
Okay.
And I think that is one of the things that we have to be aware of in the system. The system doesn't always necessarily reward you for being polite.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed. Yeah. I was losing weight, and I went to my
oncologist.
The main one.
Yeah.
PCP.
GP.
I said PCP. Okay. Anyway.
Your GP.
And I was losing weight, and I told her, I said, I'm losing weight, without trying to lose weight. And she's like, well, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was diagnosed with something completely different from this and everything, but it caused me to lose weight because I knew something was wrong. So when I got diagnosed by a neurologist, by the way, I go back to my PCP and I said, I came to you with these symptoms and you didn't listen to me. I knew something was wrong because I had to keep going and, going somewhere else because I knew something was wrong. And all she could say was, okay, Miss Taylor, I'm sorry, so and so and so and so. But I came here and told you what was going on with me, and you didn't listen.
Yeah.
That's why you want a second opinion.
Right.
That's why we're telling you you need to get a second opinion.
They listen to women less. They listen to women less.
And this was a woman doctor.
Well, and they listen to Black women even less than that, and that's
and she's a Black woman doctor.
Yeah. But I'm saying
it's the training also.
Apropos of nothing, perhaps, but for what it's worth, I find that if you go into a doctor, bring your partner with you and have them bring a notebook. Because it is really, really difficult when you are being diagnosed to not have a little bit of verklempt-ness.
Yep.
And your partner is there to help go, wait a minute. I'm going to ask a question that my husband or my wife may not be thinking of right now. Bring the entire family if it comes to it. I mean, it is better to have a phalanx of people who go, wait.
Yeah. I don't understand that answer yet.
Yeah, that's really important. That's right.
You need to advocate for yourself and have people who will advocate for you.
Agreed.
Yeah. I learned that from my mother, and my mother had lots of different hospital stays throughout my life. And then, when other people in my family got ill, like my uncle, my grandmother, my mother was right there with a notebook, writing everything down, everything. Every time the nurse came in the room, every time a different doctor came in, I learned to write down the time. I learned to write down which professional it was. And I made them stop and slow down and give me their names spell things for me because I don't know this jargon. I ask people, I need you to explain this in plain English, please, because I don't have a medical degree. So I don't know what you're talking about, and then people begin to take you a little bit more seriously when you do that.
Yep.
But it's a shit, but you have to advocate for yourself, and you have to show up ready.
And for me, this is not anti-doctor. This is just it is the nature of a structure and a system that is basically built on speed.
Yes.
And our need as a patient is to slow the train down. And that's just baked into the pie, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
And the insurance companies want to speed everything up.
Good
Right.
Oh yeah.
Make them take your time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had a very smart mom.
She's pretty brilliant. Yeah.
She is.
And Linda in the sidebar comments also said, or record the session.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there
Look at
she is
that
again.
technology. You're so right, Linda.
That's right.
For sure.
Totally
And
forget
if
about
you're
that
not
technology.
satisfied, it's okay to leave. It's okay.
Yeah.
I got a second opinion from a really famous doctor who told me I was going to die. Literally, he said, "You're going to die." And
Wow.
I looked at Armin and I said, "We're leaving now." And we got it. And he was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" I was like, "You're not on my team."
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Wow.
right. I like that.
I love that. I'm learning a lot from that. I just had one of the first time changing doctors for the first time, and because I didn't feel comfortable, and it was crazy how I know that I'm an independent woman and I can do many things in my life, but I felt very uncomfortable saying, I think I want to get another doctor. I don't think it was just, it was insane how inbred that is. Well, at least in me.
Oh
It
no,
is. It
no,
really
the
is.
doctor is always right, and you don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about, and
It's all in your head and blah blah blah. But you do know, when something is not quite right with your body.
We make that
and
mistake in our profession.
You gotta listen. You gotta listen.
And we work for our agents instead of the other way around.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a guy who used to write for the New Yorker whose name is escaping me. A wonderful writer and a wonderful doctor who wrote a number of books about the medical profession. And his posture basically was, look, it in many respects we don't know either. We're fishing around in there, and we have seen in our profession the amount of fishing time we're given limited.
Right.
When we don't have the ability to go, could be, let me do it. When they don't have that time, go, they're forced into quick diagnoses.
This is what saved Kitty's life. Her doctor, before the symptoms showed up, she had the symptoms, but they weren't deadly at the time. She just by chance said, you know what? I don't think you need it, but let's just do a white blood cell count on you. And that was the marker that went, oh my God, there's something wrong with you. But she didn't have to take that test and probably shouldn't have taken that test. But thank God that she did.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Take that appointment.
I feel like somebody needs to make a joke now. Armin, you want to?
What were you doing before, John?
Right.
Another joke. I feel like there's been too much time in between jokes, and
I see.
feels wrong.
This also took the Queen.
I thought I was a comic character. Wait,
No. Syrian character.
This disease also took the Queen, Aretha Franklin, from us.
Yeah.
She died from pancreatic cancer.
That's right.
She did.
Wow.
So many people that I love it admire.
What'd you say, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze died from pancreatic.
Oh, Patrick Swayze, right.
Michael Landon.
Yes, Michael Landon.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
That's right.
Thank you.
Ruth Bader
High on my
Paparazzi.
list.
Oh, wow. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it unfortunately is. We've been told by PanCan that it's becoming the second most lethal cancer around, and that may be because more people are being diagnosed that weren't being diagnosed before.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm surprised by just how many people in this chat have had it touch their lives. I mean, everyone is saying, something about it, and when you think about it, Yeah.
On the cruise ship, you know, when we do the breakfasts on the cruise ship, it's always full of people who have had somebody in their family touched, or they've had. I mean, it's just 60 people, all of whom have it's unbelievable.
So that's why it's very nice of you to invite us to talk about it so that we can get the word out. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah. Anytime. We love you guys and love that you're doing this. I mean, just coming here telling us about this has changed some lives. I think it changed our life because we didn't know anything about it. And when you talk about these symptoms, you know, a lot of us are like, well, I think I have a lot of these symptoms. I better go check something out. And the people in the chat are also saying the same thing. And then the advocacy for yourself with doctors. I think we've all, as women, as the sci-fi sisters, as Black women, have had to fight doctors to listen to them. This is a totally different diagnosis, but just as being a woman going through the change, you have to really fight for a doctor to listen to you.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that I have, well, this is the second doctor I've had, a doctor who listened to me and said, this is the website I've been trying to find out more about because I didn't learn any of this in medical school. So we're going to learn together and we're just going to get through this. We're going to try things because I was desperate. And when you're desperate and got a big mouth and very authoritative, you go in and tell people, listen, you're going to do this for me, or I don't want to, you know, I'm going to have a problem. But
and I want the name of that doctor because that sounds like a great doctor.
She's absolutely wonderful. I had to wait 3 months to get her, but she was absolutely wonderful. And I was very appreciative. And when you find a doctor like that, it's like, you know, Kitty, the doctor didn't have to take that test, but decided, you know what, let's do this. And this is what doctors need to be doing. They need to be listening to us. And you can also, like someone said, you can leave and you can go find someone who will listen to you. And we all need to learn how to do that, I think. Because, you know, we take it for granted that doctors know everything and they don't. They just don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of impossible for them to know everything.
It really is.
But I want you to listen to me when I tell you something.
All right.
Exactly.
All right.
Wow. I think this the subtitle of this show should be just wow, because that has been the word of the hour, you know, because it's just so much that we didn't know, and but also just looking at how deeply people are being touched by this conversation. I really appreciate you all coming out to have it with us, you know, and you know, and it's easy to be a celebrity and lend your name to stuff, but you guys are actually doing a lot of work here.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why we love you all so much, and why we really appreciate this particular effort.
Thank you.
I'm a celebrity.
Everybody but you, JB.
Everybody but the
everybody but you.
I'm always humbled by the fans, because I feel like the fans, you know, Star Trek fans are a special kind of fan, and they just, you know, they embody what Star Trek embodies. You know, the idea that man can have a better future, and that we can all have a better future. And that's what always gets me, and that's what, you know, it helped all of us through it. It helped all of us through it, you know, when Manny was at the end there. And you know, Star Trek's a very powerful thing, and it shows in the fans for sure.
Sure does.
Well, we are huge Manny. We are huge Manny fans here, boy.
Yes, I mean, he's the best thing that happened to Enterprise.
Woof.
That's right. I said it.
Enterprise is my show.
Okay, but Manny was the best thing that happened to it. Okay.
Yeah.
As John Billingsley said.
And also Dr. Fox.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sorry.
Everyone knows which sci-fi sister loves Enterprise.
We do.
Yeah.
I had the good fortune of working with Manny on 24 and on Next, and I think something else. He was.
I think there was something else.
He was a wonderful, wonderful man.
Well, wow. Well, JC, as they call you. Can I call you JC?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I just got to do like I'm having all sorts of Wi-Fi issues right now, so there's a huge delay on my video. But if you can see me, I'm doing a bow down to you for Heroes, and thank you for the work on Heroes, because Heroes was my jam, and I was so I mean. No shade, no Sade, but I was mad at that strike for killing my show. Heroes was one of the best things I had ever seen on television ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
I mean, I worked on the fourth. I was there for the fourth season, and they had such a massive first season, and then they had a lot of challenges in the second and third season, and then sort of had brought it back. And season 4 was great. It was really great, and it was a great group of people. They were a little battered at that point, but it was a great group of people. And the season had been sort of laid out and designed by Brian Fuller, who he had moved on when I got there. But I remember one of my first days on set, Ali Larder was like, "Oh, you replaced Brian Fuller," and I was like, "Yeah, no, nobody replaces Brian Fuller." That's not what I'm doing. But he had laid out that whole carnival season, and we had Robert Knepper, we had a lot of really cool directors, and it was a great writing staff, and so it was kind of a privilege to be part of that show. It was great. It turned out well that last season.
That show was so important. I feel like a lot of us geeks out there recognize the importance of that show as being, a legacy of what Trek began, but being on a mainstream station, pre-streaming, and well, I guess streaming was going on, but not as big as streaming is now, and really like taking geek life and putting it up mainstream for people to see our loves, our fan, and doing and loving the genre. It was a big deal. It was compelling stories. It wasn't tongue in cheek. It wasn't totally comic book. I mean, that show meant a lot to a lot of us. So thanks for your work on it.
Great. Thank you.
Can I just say, can I just shout out Armin for his narration of the Deeps, it's I'm sorry, Roddenberry Foundation, I think it is, and he's doing the narration like we're going through
for the archives.
For the archives,
thank you.
So cool. Very kind of oh my gosh, we are huge. No shade. We are huge DS9 fans here.
Huge.
The Sci-Fi Sisters are huge DS9
It's our
fans.
show.
It's our show.
Hands down.
Hands down. No, I'm sorry. That's
shade.
The way it is. No shade. We love Star Trek. Everything about Star Trek we love, but DS9 is it.
Did you hear that, Jonathan? Did you hear that?
Now, when it comes to
it's like I'm having Wi-Fi issues. I just
want to let you know, but that was it. Was you have not seen it?
I'm just waiting to take down Discovery and Picard now.
Before I go any further, I'm just giving out compliments here, but Johnny directed a number of our episodes, and there isn't a better director than Jonathan.
We love our Jonathan Frakes as a director.
Yeah. Also, Jonathan Frank is an excellent director. If anybody's had a chance to work with him, Jonathan Frank, fabulous.
Jonathan Frank.
Fabulous director.
He gets
Frank.
Yeah, I heard he was pretty dope. Not as cool as Frakes, but up there.
Frank. It's not a shirt I have.
Can we tell you a story about what a great guy Jonathan Frakes is? Let me tell you the story. Kitty loves to tell this story.
Okay.
Kitty and I were on an episode of Leverage that Johnny was directing.
Yes, I love that episode, by the way.
And
that's me.
And no, the one. What's this number 12 juror? What's it called?
Juror number 6.
Thank you, juror number 6. So the day that we were there.
No, I was there for 3 days.
Okay, the day that I was there.
Not that anyone's counting.
No, exactly. Usually, we all appreciate the background actors, but they don't always get the respect that they should. Mm-hmm. And the day started by Johnny introducing or reintroducing every one of the 11 background actors that served on the jury.
He did.
And I was so incredibly impressed by the fact that not only did he do that, but he knew everybody's name. And that's what makes a Frakes set so much better, because it's always a lot of fun, and there's lots of respect coming from the director.
They felt so included, and they were welcomed by all the actors because Jonathan welcomed them, and all the crew because Jonathan welcomed them. And they did an amazing job. They were with us every single second because they were valued. It was great.
That's so
It
cool.
can make a huge difference. That's the smallest parts in any show.
Yep.
Done badly could ruin the scene for you. I mean, we've all seen that happen.
And where somebody's bored listening to testimony, absolutely. Yeah. So they listened extra hard.
Like they're looking at their watch instead of listening to what's going on and behaving the way the character. You're a character, That's why the great seconds like Rosemary Cremona will give each member of the background a specific. You're in a hurry because you're late for a dentist appointment. Your dad's waiting for you in the car, and that simple action gives somebody something to think about, and therefore they're not a blank.
Yep.
You've seen it. And when in a close, when you're going across what an actor's doing, and on the jury you've got 12 people, you're going to go across and you're going to see everybody. If you're not in the scene, all of a sudden, what the hell is that guy sitting there?
Like being on a real jury where half of them are like,
Yes.
Has anybody seen Jury Duty by any chance? Well,
it's fantastic. We love Jury Duty.
Fantastic.
And Manhunt.
Yes.
Oh, man, a new Manhunt.
I haven't seen it yet.
You're great at that, Billingsley.
Yeah, good job, Bill.
Oh, thank you. I didn't have a ton to do, but fortunately, somebody came over and said, "Okay, here's the thing: play all your scenes like you have to go to the bathroom," and I found that enormously helpful.
Wow,
focused and engaged in a way that I'm going to use that
probably as well.
Yeah.
He helped from foot to foot through the whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure, the way you do your podcast.
Yeah. Do I seem squirmy to you? That's just.
You guys also got a shout out to Castle, the one that the episode that you directed, John.
With Armin.
Yeah, that you guys that were guests on in Armin and Kitty.
I
never did a Castle, but Armin did. Yeah.
Yes, I was very grateful because it was a very nice time. It was a great character. And Johnny shot it very well. And I think I solved the problem for you. You once said I solved the problem for you on the set, so that was good.
He certainly did. He's reliable.
This isn't sci-fi, Armin, but you were great as the dog trainer, the guy on Married with Children. That's one of my favorite shows.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! You have a very long memory.
Oh yes!
Wow!
Oh yes!
Wow.
Oh yes! The Briard. The dog.
Thank
y'all
you.
know what happened to the dog.
I will tell you how I got that job. It was because of my wife. I was reading the lines for practicing my audition. And what was the name of the town? It was
Munich.
Yeah. She said, "Don't say Munich. Just say Munich." And that's how I got the job.
You were actually in that episode.
If it's a cheap bit, it has my name.
It's the little things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
God. Thank God nobody's seen us on Divorce Court. That's all I have.
Before we go, can I just say that I want to get a shout out to Jonathan again. Although we said we love DS9 as our favorite, we do want to make sure that he does understand that we always know when it's a Jonathan Frakes episode.
Yeah, we know.
Episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, that must be Jonathan. Let me look at these credits. So just
sign of quality.
No shade. We just want to make sure you know that you are our favorite when it comes to especially when you took over this go into Discovery. I mean, Discovery is the nexus for our podcast. We started a podcast when Discovery came out because of all the shade that Sonequa was getting. So we decided we were going to come out here and make sure Discovery had a place for love and support and just make sure there was no hate going on here. So that's why we started. And we always love the fact that you and Gates McFadden always supported Discovery from the beginning, you know, and that made a big difference to us, and probably made us love you guys even more. I don't know why I'm getting so.
Say that again, please.
Isn't Sonequa an amazing human being?
Yeah.
Beyond her acting.
Yes.
And her spirituality. But her behavior, to reinforce what Kitty was talking about, her behavior on the set as a leader is so genuine and so palpable and so helpful to all of us in the company. She's really a spectacular human being. And season 5 of Discovery is way back on track. I had the privilege of directing the first half of the finale of that season, and it is it's worth a ride.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
There is a saying in our business that the tone of the set is set by number 1 on the call sheet. So if she's setting a good tone, you know the whole project will be very good, because she is making sure. It's like a friend of mine once said, who was a lead on a TV show. When you're number 1 on the call sheet, you are the host of the party, and you have to make sure that everybody is comfortable at the party.
Wow. Also said that most of Crafty is eaten by number 7.
I understand that. I was number 7 as well.
Why are there no more donuts? Number 7.
It wasn't called Manhunt. It was called Donut. Sorry. Wow. It was Cruller Hunt. It was the Cruller Hunt.
Oh, God.
I have to give big thanks to Yvette, because trying to arrange this thing, I was a little behind the 8 ball, and she was awesome. Thank you so much for your patience.
Anytime. I'm a little I'm like this when it comes to producing all this stuff. So when I was like, well, I didn't hear from you, so I had to plan something else. And she was like, oh no, we already planned this. We're ready to come. And I was like, okay.
I just want everybody out there to know that, like, Yvette is a force of nature. So if you haven't known already, meet Yvette, force of nature.
Wow. Did her doctor diagnose her with that? Force of nature?
Yvette has helped produce Trek Talks for the last 3 years, and has been instrumental in that effort to raise money for the Hollywood Food Coalition, as have you all.
I was just about to bring that up. It's so great to get to know you guys a little better, because we see you as we come in and out of the Trek Talks. And it's, I appreciate you even more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I love working with JB. He's the best. I joke with him, but he's just a great human being, and
he's not as bright as he pretends to be.
I didn't say he was bright. I said he was good. He's a good human being.
Now you really will have to carry him. I don't know.
I got 180 pounds to go, Jonathan. So ready.
There's like
fully pit force of nature. All right. That's right.
Down during this thing.
Well, we love you all so much. We are so grateful for your time this evening. We're grateful for the information. I'm even more grateful for the laughter.
Oh yeah.
You're fabulous human beings, and we love you all. And just thank you for letting us be a little bit of a vehicle for the rest of all the fans to pour all this love into you too.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't forget to donate.
Thank
the
you
link
so much.
is in the description. Please check out the link. Go there and donate.
Come amble with us on the 27th.
Yeah. And if you're out there,
if it's not
the Purple Amble
near you, there's bound to be a march near you.
There will be bagels. I know there'll be bagels.
Yeah.
bagels and apples.
Yeah.
There's always bagels and apples.
Yeah.
It's always good to me, baby.
Thank you, ladies, so much.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Peace, love, and hair grease, good peoples.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Thanks, everyone.
I like